Welcome back to the Bible in 90 Days. We're on day 38. Yeah, we're on day 38. We're going to finish up the book of Job. It's been Eliphaz, the youngest of Job's friends, respectfully held back. And then he has been, if Job was wrong in what he's saying, Eliphaz would be a star right now. Everything he's saying about God is true, but it just, except for the fact that what the three friends are ultimately saying is that bad things don't happen to good people. God doesn't allow bad things to happen to good people. He keeps good people safe, and bad people are the ones that have bad things happen to them. And therefore, Job is guilty of something, for sure. But what Job is saying is that he's not guilty of anything, and that God has taken his hand of protection off of him, and that's what Job's saying, and he's lamenting in that, because even where he was hoping to have some consolation from his friends, I imagine as they sat there for 7 days and looked at him in his misery, he was just in this, maybe he had this hope that they would take care of him a little bit, but they never did, man. They have been roasting him for however long this has been. This is the third day for us reading through it. Solid, so. But there's only about 6 chapters to go, and chapter 38 is going to be awesome. I don't want to give it away, but let's jump right into the Word of God. Remember, Eliphaz was in mid-conversation when we stopped yesterday, so it kind of picks up right where we left off. He's giving him some illustrations about the power of God that everyone knows. Chapter 37. At this my heart pounds, it leaps from its place. Listen to the roar of his voice, to the rumbling that comes from his mouth. He unleashes his lightning beneath the whole heaven, and sends it to the ends of the earth. After that comes the sound of his roar. He thunders with his majestic voice. When his voice resounds, he holds nothing back. God's voice thunders in marvelous ways. He does great things beyond our understanding. He says to the snow, fall on the earth, and to the rain shower, be a mighty downpour, so that everyone he has made may know his work. He stops all people from their labor. Verse 8, the animals take cover, and they remain in their dens. The tempest comes out from its chamber, the cold from the driving wind. The breath of God produces ice, and broad waters become frozen. He loads the clouds with moisture, and he scatters his lightning through them. At his direction they swirl around over the face of the whole earth. Do whatever he commands them. To do whatever he commands them. Verse 13. He brings the clouds to punish people, to water the earth and show his love. Verse 14. Listen to this, Job. Stop and consider God's wonders. Do you know how God controls the clouds and makes his lightning flash? Do you know how the clouds hang poised? The wonders, those wonders of him who has perfected knowledge. You who swelter in your clothes when the land lies hushed under the south wind, can you join him in spreading out the skies, hard as a mirror cast of bronze? Tell us what we should say to him. We cannot draw up our case because of our darkness. So we should be told. So he be told that I want to speak. Should anyone ask to be swallowed up? Now no one can look at the sun, bright as it is in the skies, After the wind has swept them clean, out of the north he comes in golden splendor. God comes in awesome majesty. Verse 23. The Almighty is beyond our reach and exalted in power, in justice and great righteousness. He does not oppress. Therefore, people revere him. For does he not have regard for all the wise in heart? Chapter 38. Then the Lord spoke to Job out of the storm. He said, Who is this that obscures my plans with words without knowledge? Brace yourself like a man. I will question you, and you shall answer me. Verse 4. Where were you when I laid the earth's foundation? Tell me if you understand. Who marked off its dimensions? Surely you know. Who stretched out a measuring line across it? On what were its footings set? Or who laid its cornerstone? While the morning stars sang together and all the angels shouted for joy, who shut up the sea behind doors? When it burst forth from the womb, when I made the clouds its garment, I wrapped it in thick darkness. Then, when I fixed limits for it, and set its doors and bars in place, when I said, This far you may come and no farther. Here is where your proud waves halt. Have you ever given orders to the morning, or shown the dawn its place, that it might take earth by the edges and shake the wicked out of it? The earth takes shape like clay under a seal. Its features stand out like those of a garment. The wicked are denied their light, and their unpraised arm is broken. Have you journeyed to the springs of the sea, or walked in the recesses of the deep? Have the gates of death been shown to you? Have you seen the gates of the deepest darkness? Verse 18. Have you comprehended the vast expanses of the earth? Tell me, if you know all this. Verse 19. What is the way to the abode of light? And where does darkness reside? Can you take them to their places? Do you know the paths to their dwellings? Surely you know, for you were already born. You have lived so many years. Have you entered the storehouses of the snow, or seen the storehouses of the hail, which I reserve for times of trouble, for days of war and battle? Verse 24. What is the way to the place where the lightning is dispersed, or the place where the east wind are scattered over the earth? Or who cuts a channel for the torrents of rain, and a path for the thunderstorm, to water the land where no one lives? An uninhabited desert, to satisfy a desolate wasteland, and to make it sprout with grass. Does the rain have a father? Whose fathers the drops of dew? Who fathers the drops of dew? Verse 29. From whose womb comes the ice? Who gives birth to the frost from the heavens? When the waters become hard as stone, when the surface of the deep is frozen. Can you bind the chains of the Pleiades? Can you loosen Orion's belt? Can you bring forth the constellations in their seasons, or lead out the bear with its cubs? Sorry, I should have made that a question. Do you know the laws of the heavens? Can you set up God's dominion over the earth? Can you raise your voice to the clouds and cover yourself with a flood of water? Do you send lightning bolts on their way? Do they report you? Here we are. Who gives the ibis wisdom, or gives the rooster understanding? Who has the wisdom to count the clouds? Who can tip over the water jars of the heavens? When the dust becomes hard, as the clods of earth get stick together. Verse 39. Do you hunt prey for the lioness, and satisfy their hunger, the hunger of the lions, when they crouch in their dens or lie in wait in a thicket? Who provides food for the raven when its young cry out to God and wander about for lack of food? Chapter 39. Do you know when the mountain goats give birth? Do you watch when the doe bears her fawn? Do you count the months until they bear? Do you know the time they give birth? They crouch down and bring forth their young. Their labor pains are ended. Their young thrive and grow strong in the wilds. They leave and do not return. Who let the wild donkey go free? Who untied its ropes? I gave it the wasteland as its home, the salt flats as its habitat. It laughs at the commotion in the town. It does not hear drivers shout. It ranges the hills for its pasture, and searches for any green thing. Verse 9. Will the wild ox consent to serve you? Will it stay by your manger at night? Can you hold it to the furrow with a harness? Will it till the valleys behind you? Will you rely on it for its great strength? Will you leave your heavy work to it? Can you trust it to haul your grain and bring it to your threshing floor? The wings of the ostrich flap joyfully, though they cannot compare with the wings and feathers of the stork. Verse 14. She lays her eggs on the ground and lets them warm in the sand, unmindful that a fool may crush them, that some wild animal may trample them. She bears her young harshly, as if they were not hers. She cares not for her that her labor was in vain. For God did not endow her with wisdom, or give her a share of good sense. Yet when she spreads her feathers to run, she laughs at the horse and the rider. Verse 19. Or do you give the horse its strength, or clothe its neck with a flowing mane? Do you make it leap like a locust, striking terror with its proud snorting? It paws fiercely, rejoicing in its strength, and charges into the fray. Verse 22. It laughs at fear, afraid of nothing. It does not shy away from the sword. The quiver rattles against its side, and along with the flashing spear and the lance. In frenzied excitement, it eats up the ground. It cannot stand still when the trumpet sounds. Verse 25. At the blast of the trumpet it snorts, aha! It catches the scent of battle from afar, the shout of commanders and the battle cry. Verse 26. Does the hawk take flight by your wisdom, and spread its wings towards the south? Does the eagle soar at your command, and build its nest on high? It dwells on a cliff, and stays there at night. A craggy rock is its stronghold. From there it looks for food. Its eyes detect it from afar. Its young ones feast on blood. And where the slain are, there it is. Chapter 40. The Lord said to Job, will the one who contends with the Almighty correct him? Let the one who accuses God answer him. Then Job answered the Lord, I am unworthy. How can I reply to you? I put my hand over my mouth. I spoke once, but I have no answer. Twice, but I will say no more. Verse 6. Then the Lord spoke to Job out of the storm. Brace yourself like a man, and I will question you, and you shall answer me. Would you discredit my justice? Would you condemn me to justify yourself? Do you have an arm like God's? Can your voice thunder like this? Then adorn yourself with glory and splendor, and clothe yourself in honor and majesty. Unleash the fury of your wrath. Look at all who are proud and bring them low. Look at all who are proud and humble them. Crush the wicked where they stand. Bury them in the dust together. Shroud their faces in the grave. Then I myself will admit to you that your own right hand can save you. Verse 15. Look at Behemoth, which I made along with you, and which feeds on grass like an ox. What strength it has in its loins! What power in the muscles of its belly! Its tail sways like a cedar. Its sinews of its thighs are close knit. Its bones are tubes of bronze. Its limbs are like rods of iron. It ranks first among the works of God, yet its maker can approach it with his sword. Verse 20. The hills bring their produce, and the wild animals play nearby. Under the lotus plants it lies, hidden among the reeds and marsh. Verse 22. The lotuses conceal it in their shadow, and the poplars by the stream surround it. A raging river does not alarm it. It's secure, though the Jordan should surge against its mouth. And can anyone capture it by the eyes, or trap it and pierce its nose? Chapter 41. Can you pull in Leviathan with a fishhook, or tie down its tongue with a rope? Can you put a cord through its nose, or pierce its jaw with a hook? Will it keep begging you for mercy? Will it speak to you with gentle words? Will it make an agreement with you, for you to take it as a slave for your life? Can you make a pet of it like a bird, or put it on a leash for the young women in your house? Verse 6. Will traders barter for it? Will they divide it among the merchants? Can you fill its hide with harpoons, or its head with fishing spears? If you lay a hand on it, you will remember the struggle and never do it again. Any hope of subduing it is false. The mere sight of it is overpowering. No one is fierce enough to rouse it. Who, then, is able to stand against me? Who has a claim against me that I must pay? Everything under the heaven belongs to me. Verse 12. I will not fail to speak of Leviathan's limbs, its strength and its graceful form. Who can strip off its outer coat? Who can penetrate its double coat of armor? Who dares to open the doors of its mouth, ringed about with fearsome teeth? It has back rows of shields, tightly sealed together. Each is so close to the next that no air can pass between. They are joined fast to one another, and they cling together and cannot be parted. Its snorting throws out flashes of light. Its eyes are like the rays of the dawn. Verse 19. Flames stream from its mouth. Sparks of fire shoot out. Smoke pours from its nostrils as from a boiling pot over burning reeds. Verse 21. Its breath sets coals ablaze, and flames dart from its mouth. Its strength resides in its neck. Dismay goes before it. The folds of its flesh are tightly joined. They are firm and immovable. Its chest is hard as a rock, and as hard as a lower millstone. When it rises up, the mighty are terrified. They retreat before its thrashing. The sword that reaches it has no effect, nor does the spear or the dart or the javelin. Verse 27. The iron treats it like straw. Iron it treats like straw, and bronze like rotten wood. Arrows do not make it flee. Sling stones are like chaff to it. A club seems to be but a piece of straw. It laughs at the rattling of the lance. Its undersides are jagged potsherds, leaving a trail in the mud like a threshing sledge. It makes the depths churn like a boiling cauldron. and it stirs up the sea like a pot of ointment. It leaves a glistening wake behind it. One would think that the deep had white hair. Nothing on earth is its equal, a creature without fear. It looks down on all that are haughty. It is king over all that are proud. Chapter 42. Then Job replied to the Lord, I know that you can do all things. No purpose of yours can be thwarted. You ask, who is this that obscures my plans without knowledge? Surely I spoke of things I did not understand, things too wonderful for me to know. You said, listen now, and I will speak. I will question you, and you shall answer me. My ears have heard you, but now my eyes have seen you. And therefore I despise myself, and repent in dust and ashes. Verse 7. After the Lord had said these things to Job, he said to Eliphaz the Temanite, I am angry with you and your 2 friends, because you have not spoken the truth about me, as my servant Job has. Now take 7 bulls and 7 rams, and go to my servant Job, and sacrifice a burnt offering for yourselves. My servant Job will pray for you, and I will accept his prayer, and not deal with you according to your folly. You have not spoken truth about me, as my servant Job has. So Eliphaz the Temanite, Bildad the Shuhite, and Zophar the Naamathite did what the Lord told them, and the Lord accepted Job's prayer. Verse 10, after Job prayed for his friends, the Lord restored his fortunes and gave him twice as much as he had before. All his brothers and sisters and everyone who knew him before came and ate with him at his house. They comforted and consoled him over all the trouble the Lord had brought on him. Each one gave him a piece of silver and a gold ring. Verse 12, the Lord blessed the latter part of Job's life more than the former part. He had 14,000 sheep, 6,000 camels, 1,000 yoke of oxen, and 1,000 donkeys. He also had 7 sons and 3 daughters. The first daughters he named Jemima, the second Keziah, and the third Keren-Hapuk. Nowhere in all the land were women found as beautiful as Job's daughters, and their father granted them an inheritance along with their brothers. Verse 16. After this, Job lived 140 years. He saw children and their children to the 4th generation. And so Job died, an old man, full of years. Well, that's it for the book of Job. It turns out good. But we have that last moment when God's speaking, Job felt remorse for his own lamentations at that point. When it came down to it, he apologized for what he had said, and he was speaking out of his pain. Job teaches us how to, I don't understand somebody saying the patience of Job. And I know Job was a great and wonderful man, but the patience of Job is, it's not that he was waiting. He really just wanted to die from all the pain he was in, and he couldn't even get sympathy. I think that was part of the devil's curse, that those friends had come. But it was also God's salvation that he was able to, that Job was able to pray for them and to bring that back around. Well, we're into the book of Psalms now, and like I have said that I was kind of dreading coming. I don't know if I would say dreading, but I wasn't looking forward to Psalms, but now I am. I counted the days we're going to be in Psalms before we started reading today, and it's like 7 days, so we better learn to love it. And, I was thinking about it, and the last time I read the Psalms, like all of the Psalms, I read Psalms a lot, but the last time I read all of the Psalms like this, I kind of was breezing through it. I was just really reading the words. And what a blessing it is this time to be reading it out loud. So I think that's going to make a huge difference. So let's jump into the Psalms. We've got a few more pages to go. We're going to go to chapter 17. Psalm 1. Blessed is the one who does not walk in the step with the wicked, or stand in the way that the sinners take, or sit in the company of mockers, but whose delight is in the law of the Lord, and who meditates on his law day and night. That person is like a tree planted by the streams of water, which yields its fruit in season, and whose leaf does not wither. Whatever they do prospers. Not so the wicked. They are like chaff that the wind blows away. Therefore the wicked will not stand in the judgment, nor sinners in the assembly of the righteous. For the Lord watches over the way of the righteous, but the way of the wicked leads to destruction. Psalm 2 goes with Psalm 1. It probably shouldn't be divided, so let's just keep going here. Why do the nations conspire and the peoples plot in vain? The kings of the earth rise up and the rulers band together against the Lord and against his anointed, saying, Let us break off their chains. Let us break their chains and throw off their shackles. The one enthroned in the high heavens laughs. In heaven laughs. And the Lord scoffs at them. He rebukes them in his anger and terrifies them in his wrath, saying, I have installed my king on Zion, my holy mountain. I will proclaim the Lord's decree. He said to me, You are my son. Today I have become your father. Verse 8. Ask me, and I will make the nations your inheritance, the ends of the earth your possession. You will break them with a rod of iron, and you will dash them to pieces like pottery. Verse 10. Therefore, you kings, be wise. Be warned, you rulers of earth. Serve the Lord with fear, and celebrate his rule with trembling. Kiss the Son, or he will be angry, and your way will lead to your destruction. For his wrath can flare up in a moment. Blessed are all who can take refuge in him. Psalm 3. This is a psalm of David when he fled from his son Absalom. Verse 1. Lord, how many are my foes? That's not a question. How many are my foes? How many rise up against me? Many are saying of me, God will not deliver him. But you, Lord, are a shield around me, my glory, the one who lifts my head high. I call out to the Lord, and he answers me from his holy mountain. I lie down and sleep, and I wake again because the Lord sustains me. Verse 6. I will not fear though tens of thousands assail me on every side. Verse 7. Arise, O Lord. Deliver me, my God. Strike all my enemies on the jaw. Break the teeth of the wicked. From the Lord comes deliverance. May your blessings be on your people. Psalm 4 is for the director of music with stringed instruments, a psalm of David. Answer me when I call you, my righteous God. Give me relief from my distress. Have mercy on me and hear my prayer. How long will you people turn my glory into shame? How long will you love delusions and seek false gods? Know that the Lord has set apart his faithful servant for himself. The Lord hears when I call him. Tremble and do not sin. When you are on your beds, search your hearts and be silent. Offer the sacrifices of the righteous and trust in the Lord. Verse 6. Many, Lord, are asking, who will bring us prosperity? Let the light of your face shine on us. Fill my heart with joy when their grain is new and wine abound. In peace I will lie down and sleep, for you alone, Lord, make me dwell in safety. Psalm number 5, also for the director of music for pipes, a psalm of David. Verse 1. Listen to my Lord's words, Lord. Consider my lament. Hear my cry for help, and my King and my God, for I pray to you. In the morning, Lord, you hear my voice. In the morning I lay my request before you, and wait expectantly. For you are not a God who is pleased with wickedness. With you, evil people are not welcome. While the arrogant cannot stand in your presence. You hate all who do wrong. You destroy those who tell lies, the bloodthirsty and deceitful. You, Lord, detest. But I, by your great love, can come into your house. In reverence I bow down toward your holy temple. Lead me, Lord, in your righteousness because of my enemies. Make your way straight before me. Not a word from their mouth can be trusted. Their heart is filled with malice. Their throat is an open grave. With their tongues they tell lies. Declare them guilty, O God. Let their intrigues be their downfall. Banish them for their many sins, for they have rebelled against you. But let all who take refuge in you be glad. Let them ever sing for joy. Spread your protection over them, that those who love your name may rejoice in you. Surely, Lord, you bless the righteous. You surround them with your favor as with a shield. Psalm 6, for the director of music with stringed instruments, according to Sheminith, a psalm of David. Verse 1. Lord, do not rebuke me in your anger, or discipline me in your wrath. Have mercy on me, Lord, for I am faint. Heal me, Lord, for my bones are in agony. My soul is in deep anguish. How long, Lord, how long? Turn, Lord, and deliver me. Save me because of your unfailing love. Among the dead, no one proclaims your name. Who praises you from the grave? I am worn out from my groaning. All night long I flood my bed with weeping, and I drench my couch with tears. My eyes grow weak with sorrow. They fail because of all my foes. Verse 8. Away from me, all you who do evil, as the Lord has heard my weeping. The Lord has heard me cry for mercy. The Lord accepts my prayer. All my enemies will be overwhelmed with shame and anguish. They will turn back and suddenly be put to shame. Psalm 7. A Shiggaion of David, which he sang to the Lord concerning Cush, a Benjamite. Verse 1. Lord my God, I take refuge in you. Save and deliver me from all who pursue me, for they will tear me apart like a lion, and rip me to pieces with no one to rescue me. Lord my God, if I have done this, and there is guilt on my hands, if I have repaid my ally with evil, or without cause have robbed my foe, then let my enemy pursue and overtake me. Let him trample my life to the ground, and make me sleep in the dust. Verse 6. Arise, Lord, in your anger. Arise against the rage of my enemies. Awake, my God, decree justice. Let the assembly of assembled peoples gather around you, while you sit enthroned over them on high. Let the Lord judge the peoples. Vindicate me, Lord, according to my righteousness. According to my integrity, O Most High, bring to an end the violence of the wicked, and make the righteous secure. You, righteous God, who probes minds and hearts, my shield is God Most High, who saves the upright in heart. God is a righteous judge, a God who displays his wrath every day. Verse 12. If he does not relent, he will sharpen his sword. He will bend and string his bow. He has prepared his deadly weapons. He makes ready his flaming arrows. Whoever is pregnant with evil conceives trouble and gives birth to disillusionment. Whoever digs a hole and scoops it out falls into the pit they have made. The trouble, verse 16, the trouble they cause recoils on them. Their violence comes down on their own heads. I will give thanks to the Lord because of his righteousness. I will sing praises of the name of the Lord Most High. Psalm 8. For the director of music, according to Gittith, a psalm of David. Lord, our Lord, how majestic is your name in all the earth. You have set your glory in the heavens. Through the praise of children and infants, you have established a stronghold against your enemies, to silence the foe and the avenger. When I consider your heavens, the work of your fingers, the moon and the stars, which you have set in place, what is mankind that you are mindful of them? Human beings, that you care for them. You have made them a little lower than the angels, and crowned them with the glory and honor. You made them rulers over the works of your hands. You put everything under their feet, all flocks and herds, all animals of the wild, the birds in the sky and the fish in the sea, all that swim in the paths of the seas. Lord, our Lord, how majestic is your name in all the earth. Psalm 9, for the director of music, to the tune of The Death of the Son, a psalm of David. I will give thanks to you, Lord, with all my heart. I will tell of your wonderful deeds. I will be glad and rejoice in you. I will sing the praises of your name, O Most High. My enemies turn back, for they stumble and perish before you. For you have held my right and my cause. Sitting enthroned as the righteous judge, you have rebuked the nations and destroyed the wicked. You have blotted out their name forever and ever. Verse 6, endless ruin has overtaken my enemies. You have uprooted their cities. Even the memory of them has perished. The Lord reigns forever. He has established his throne for judgment. Verse 8, he rules the world in righteousness and judges the peoples with equity. The Lord is a refuge for the oppressed, a stronghold in times of trouble. For those who know your name trust in you. For you, Lord, have never forsaken those who seek you. Sing praises of the Lord, enthroned in Zion. Proclaim among the nations what he has done. For he who avenges blood remembers. He does not ignore the cries of the afflicted. Lord, see how my enemies persecute me. Have mercy and lift me up from the gates of death, that I may declare your praises in the gates of daughter Zion, and there rejoice in your salvation. Verse 15. The nations have fallen into the pit they have dug. Their feet are caught in the net they have hidden. The Lord is known by his acts of justice. The wicked are ensnared by the work of their hands. Verse 17. The wicked go down into the realm of the dead, all the nations that forget God. Verse 18, but God will never forget the needy. The hope of the afflicted will never perish. Arise, Lord, and do not let mortals triumph. Let the nations be judged in your presence. Strike them with terror, Lord. Let the nations know that you are the only mortal, that they are only mortal. Psalm 10, verse 1. Why, Lord, do you stand far off? Why do you hide yourself in times of trouble? In arrogance, the wicked man hunts down the weak, who are caught in the schemes he devises. He boasts about the cravings of his heart. He blessed the greedy and reviles the Lord. He blesses the greedy and reviles the Lord. In his pride, the wicked man does not seek him. In all his thoughts, there is no room for God. His ways are always His ways are always prosperous. Your laws are rejected by him. He sneers at all his enemies. He says to himself, "Nothing will ever shake me." He swears, "No one will ever do me harm." His mouth is full of lies and threats. Trouble and evil are under his tongue. He lies in wait near the villages. From ambush he murders the innocent. His eyes watch in secret for his victims. Verse 9. Like a lion in cover he lies in wait. He lies in wait to catch the helpless. He catches the helpless and drags them off in his net. His victims are crushed. They collapse, they fall under his strength. He says to himself, "God will never notice." He covers his face and never sees. Verse 12. Arise, Lord, lift up your hand, O God. Do not forget the helpless. Why does the wicked man revile God? Why does he say to himself, "He won't call me to account"? But you, God, see the trouble of the afflicted. You consider their grief and take it in hand. The victims commit themselves to you, and you are the helper of the fatherless. Break the arm of the wicked man. Call the evildoer to account for his wickedness. That would not be otherwise found out. Verse 16. The Lord is king forever and ever. The nations will perish from his land. You, Lord, hear the desire of the afflicted. You encourage them. You listen to their cry, defending the fatherless and the oppressed, so that mere earthly mortals will never again strike terror. Psalm number 11. For the director of music of David. In the Lord I take refuge. How then can you say to me, "Flee like a bird to your mountain"? For look, the wicked bend their bows. They set their arrows against the strings to shoot from the shadows. They are upright in heart. At the upright in heart, when the foundations are being destroyed, what can the righteous do? The Lord is in his holy temple. The Lord is on his heavenly throne. He observes everyone on earth. His eyes examine them. The Lord examines the righteousness, but the wicked, those who love violence, he hates with a passion. Verse 6. On the wicked he will rain fiery coals and burning sulfur. A scorching wind will be their lot. For the Lord is righteousness. He loves justice. The upright will see his face. Psalm number 12. For the director of music, according to Sheminith, a psalm of David. Help, Lord, for no one is faithful anymore. Those who are loyal have vanished from the human race. Wow. Everyone lies to their neighbor. They flatter with their lips, but harbor deception in their hearts. May the Lord silence all flattering lips and every boastful tongue. Those who say, by our tongues we will prevail. By our own lips will defend us. Who is Lord over us? Verse 5. Because the poor are plundered and the needy groan, I will now arise, says the Lord. I will protect them from those who malign them. And the words of the Lord are flawless, like silver purified in a crucible, like gold refined 7 times. The Lord will keep the needy safe and will protect us forever from the wicked, who freely strut about. When what is vile is honored by the human race. Wow. Psalm 13. For the director of music, a psalm of David. How long, Lord, will you forget me? Forever? How long will you hide your face from me? How long must I wrestle with my thoughts? Day after day I have sorrow in my heart. How long will my enemy triumph over me? Look on me and answer, Lord my God. Give light to my eyes, or I will sleep in death. And my enemy will say, I have overcome him, and my foes will rejoice when I fall. But I trust in your unfailing love. My heart rejoices in your salvation. I will sing the Lord's praises, for he has been good to me. Amen. Psalm 14. For the director of music of David. The fool says in his heart, there is no God. They are corrupt in their deeds, and their deeds are vile. There is no one who does good. The Lord looks down from heaven on all mankind, to see if there are any who understand, any who seek God. After they have turned away, all have become corrupt. There is no one who does good, not even one. Verse 4. Do all these evildoers know nothing? They devour my people as though eating bread. They never call on the Lord. But there they are, overwhelmed with dread. For God is present in the company of the righteous. You evildoers frustrate the plans of the poor, but the Lord is their refuge. Oh, that salvation for Israel would come out of Zion. When the Lord restores his people, let Jacob rejoice and Israel be glad. Psalm 15, a psalm of David. Lord, who may dwell in your sacred tent? Who may live on your holy mountain? The one whose walk is blameless, who does what is righteous, who speaks the truth from their heart, whose tongue utters no slander, who does no wrong to a neighbor, and casts no slur on others, who despises a vile person, but honors those who fear the Lord, who keeps an oath even when it hurts, and does not change their mind, who lends money to the poor without interest, who does not accept a bribe against the innocent. Whoever does these things will never be shaken. Psalm 16, a miktam of David. Verse 1. Keep me safe, my God, for in you I take refuge. I say to the Lord, you are my Lord. Apart from you I have no good thing. I say of the holy people who are in the land, they are the noble ones, in whom is all my delight. Those who run after other gods will suffer more and more. I will not pour out libations of blood to such gods, or take up their names on my lips. Verse 5. Lord, you alone are my portion and my cup. You make my lot secure. The boundary lines have fallen for me in distant places. Surely I have a delightful inheritance. I will praise the Lord who counsels me. Even at night my heart instructs me. I keep my eyes always on the Lord. With him at my right hand I will not be shaken. Verse 9. Therefore my heart is glad and my tongue rejoices. My body will rest secure, because you will not abandon me to the realm of the dead, nor will you let your faithful one see decay. You make known to me the path of life, and you will fill me with joy in your presence. The eternal pleasures at your right hand. With eternal pleasures at your right hand. Psalm 17, a psalm of David. Hear me, Lord, my plea is just. Listen to my cry. Hear my prayer. It does not rise from deceitful lips. Let my vindication come from you. May your eyes see what is right. Though you probe my heart, though you examine me at night and test me, you will find that I have planned no evil. My mouth has not transgressed. Though people tried to bribe me, I have kept myself from the ways of the violent. Though you, through what your lips have commanded, my steps have held to your paths. My feet have not stumbled. Verse 6. I call on you, my God, for you will answer me. Turn your ear to me and hear my prayer. Show me the wonders of your great love, you who save by your right hand, those who take refuge in you from their foes. Verse 8. Keep me as the apple of your eye. Hide me in the shadow of your wings. From the wicked who are out to destroy me, from the mortal enemies who surround me. They close up their callous hearts, and their mouths speak with arrogance. They have tracked me down. They now surround me. With my eyes alert, they throw me to the ground. Verse 12. They are like a lion hungry for prey, like a fierce lion crouching in cover. Rise up, Lord, confront them, bring them down. With your sword rescue me from the wicked. By your hand save me from such people, Lord. From those of this world whose regard is in this life. May what you have stored up for the wicked fill their bellies. May their children gorge themselves on it, and may there be leftovers for their little ones. As for me, verse 15, as for me, I will be vindicated, and I will see your face. When I awake, I will be satisfied with seeing your likeness. Man, David is good. This is going to be awesome. I love reading the Psalms. They are so rich and so deep, man. I can imagine David organizing people in the temple, or not in the temple, but in the city of David there. David was a musician. I love to watch musicians work. I love to watch them figure out how all of this is supposed to be, and I love to see them when they're really into it, and they're saying that, no, this isn't right. I can imagine maybe I would have liked to have been a musician, but I'm not one. I can see the struggle of it, though. I could see David struggling with these guys, and no, that's not the tune I want. And then when they get it right, the joy, all the anger that they had going through it turns to joy, and just how it really works, man. David was such an incredible person. All the Psalms are songs. I know they don't rhyme and don't say, we're going through translation. They weren't speaking English. To hear the Psalms sung in Hebrew is pretty awesome. They sound a lot better in Hebrew, but I can't understand them. Well, that's all the reading for today. God loves you. I love you too. Y'all have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.